my daughter's wedding is starting. Hurry up and come.
What? Your daughter is still in high school, isn't she?
My name is Nancy Wilson. 15 years ago, my husband left me to remarry his mistress. Since then, I've been raising my daughter, Emily, as a single mother. At the time of the divorce, I was working part-time, but now, thanks to my hard work, I run my own business. Currently, Emily is in high school and is gradually becoming more adult-like, recently starting a part-time job. Emily, who used to always call me mommy, has now become so reliable that she even helps me out. We have a great mother-daughter relationship and spend every day laughing and having fun together. This takes us back about 15 years. At that time, I was married to my then-husband, John, for 6 years, and our daughter, Emily, was 2 years old. Both John and I worked, and since his family owned a business, he had a high income as the next company president, so we never struggled financially. I worked part-time and didn't earn much, but I managed all the household chores and childcare. We supported each other and had a happy family life, but gradually I noticed a change in John's behavior. For example, he started working late and going in on weekends. He also became indifferent towards Emily and me. I suspected an affair but wanted to trust my husband, so I didn't investigate. However, my worst fears were confirmed in the worst possible way. How about we go to an amusement park as a family next weekend? Oh, I have to work that day. I see. You've been busy lately. Yeah, I'm gonna be the next president of the company. Well then, Emily, let's go, just the two of us.
Let's go.
Even though John was indifferent, I didn't confront or question him. I thought he was working hard for our family. As time went on, Emily and I spent more weekends alone, and our time with John decreased. Then one day, he suddenly announced, "I've fallen in love with someone else, so I'm going to divorce you and remarry her." When he said this, I was shocked and couldn't understand what he meant at first.
What do you mean? Are you having an affair?
Yes. And I already have a child with her.
What?
I was even more shaken by the revelation of another child. John had shown no signs of this behavior when we were dating or married. I've been seeing her since right after we got married, and our child is almost 5 years old now.
Wait, do you realize what you're saying? That child is older than Emily.
Yeah. And, I just feel more comfortable with them, so I thought maybe I should marry her. His casual attitude was astounding, and I was speechless with disbelief. He said it so nonchalantly that I was dumbfounded and appalled. Gradually, I began to grasp the weight of his words, and my body started to tremble. Seeing me downcast, he must have thought I was worried about money, and then he added even more thoughtless words. "Don't worry, I'll give you a fair share of the assets, pay alimony, and even give you a lump sum for child support. It's good that my family is wealthy. You're poor, after all." Although John's family was wealthy, mine was just an ordinary household, and he seemed to think I was poor. But money wasn't the only issue at hand. Oh, by the way, my parents already know about this. They're supportive of my remarriage.
What's that supposed to mean?
It just shows how useless you are. Losing to the mistress, that's kind of hilarious.
They knew about it all along?
Yeah. She's been over to the family home and all. My ex-husband said this with a sneer. I couldn't believe that even my in-laws knew. I was a mix of anger, disbelief, and frustration, feeling chills run down my spine.
What about Emily? She's losing her father. If you really cared about her, you wouldn't do this.
I forced the words out, feeling a tightness in my throat. Well, the other woman's child is mine too. If you want me to stay as Emily's father, maybe you should become the mistress next? His words made me realize how cold I had become towards him. I was disillusioned to understand that this was what family meant to him. I felt pathetic for having been married to such a person.
Fine. Do whatever you want.
When I updated my bank book, I saw a large deposit, and my savings increased significantly. Looking at it, I felt like he thought paying money settled everything. Tears streamed down my face as I stared at the numbers. Then, a call came from my former mother-in-law. "Hello? You got the money, right?" "Yes." "Then don't have anything to do with us anymore." She said her piece and hung up unilaterally. I felt even more empty and let out a sigh. What was all the time I spent with that family for? How will I explain this to Emily when she grows up? Not knowing who to turn to, I cried in the shower at home, making sure Emily didn't notice. The next day, I received the divorce papers already filled out, indicating he had been preparing for this. I signed them and immediately took them to the office. Then, I got a call from my ex-husband. "Hey, you need to move out of the house you're living in by the end of this month."
What?
"Well, it's in my name. So, hurry up and get out, will you?"
I can't just leave on such short notice.
"Just go back to your parents' place." "Bye." How much more does he intend to push us? Did we ever do anything to him? His selfish behavior and actions were beyond forgiveness. It was the first time I felt such rage. My parents' house is far away, and while returning there is an option, it would mean changing my job. I was contemplating the need to find a new place to live in order to continue my current job. But then I thought this might be a turning point, so I decided to move back to my parents' house. I chose to start anew with Emily in a different environment. When I got home and told my parents everything, they were furious. My father was ready to confront my in-laws, but my mother and I calmed him down, and we discussed the future. We decided not to have any further contact with them, and my parents were eager to support Emily and me. I felt sorry for my parents, knowing they must be suffering more than me. They gave me kind, positive words. They took care of both me and Emily and said I didn't need to work until I felt better. But I couldn't rely on them completely, so I started looking for a job the next day. I immediately started job hunting and took care of all the necessary administrative procedures, doing everything I could to ensure Emily wouldn't face any hardships. While I was at the employment agency looking for work, a call came in from a friend. "Hello."
Hey, Nancy. Are you okay? What do you mean?
"Did you get divorced?" I hadn't told anyone but my parents about the divorce, so I was taken aback by her words.
How did you know?
"It's on social media. Some woman posted snatched a wife's husband with a photo, and your husband was in it." Hearing this, I couldn't focus on job hunting. I looked at the social media post my friend shared. There was a photo of my ex-husband smiling with a young woman and a child, and my heart sank. "Is this true? Are you okay?" "Yeah, it's true. Everything happened so suddenly." "Where are you now?" "For now, I'm at my parents'." "Good, you're not alone. I was worried." "Sorry to worry you." "Don't be. I'll let you know if I find out anything else." "Thanks." After hanging up, I stared at the photo on social media, wondering if my daughter and I were sacrificed for their happiness. It's one thing for me to go through this, but Emily too. I felt tears coming but held them back in public. I went to a nearby park and sat on a bench, lost in thought. Why has this happened? Despite my instincts telling me not to look, curiosity got the better of me, and I found myself scrolling through the past posts. The mistress's social media didn't show my ex-husband's face, but there were plenty of posts that made it clear they were together. If I had investigated for infidelity, there would have been plenty of evidence. My lack of engagement with social media was a blind spot. I was so oblivious for such a long time. During our marriage, I was blissfully unaware, believing we had a happy, ordinary family life. I thought my ex-husband adored Emily, but recalling the conversation when he announced the divorce, I realized it wasn't true. The one who suffers the most is Emily. I shouldn't be so down. Before I knew it, I had spent 2 hours in the park, lost in thought. I decided to head home. When I got home, my parents had prepared dinner, but I had no appetite and told them I wasn't feeling well before returning to my room. Will time heal the pain of this situation? As I lay in bed, Emily came into my room.
Mommy, are you going to sleep?
Seeing her face brought tears to my eyes, and I hugged her tightly. Then Emily patted my head, saying,
It's okay, Mommy.
Her innocent gesture gave me strength, and I felt a bit more positive.
Emily, Mommy will make sure you're happy. Yeah.
She probably didn't understand what I meant, but with Emily, I felt like we could overcome anything. That was the day I started to feel hope again. Fast forward 15 years. Now, my income has increased, and I've managed to build a small single-story house. Emily has grown into a reliable high school student who even helps me out. Our mother-daughter relationship is strong, almost like friends, spending time together. One day, I received a call from an unknown number. Due to my work, I often get calls from clients, so without any suspicion, I answered. A familiar voice was on the other end.
Hello?
Hey, long time no see. I instantly recognized the voice as my ex-husband's, and immediately regretted picking up the phone. Do you need something? Do I need something? That's pretty cold. Still poor, are you? If there's nothing else, I'm hanging up. Wait. I'm offering to get back together with you. What? I was stunned by his incomprehensible statement. It was clear he hadn't grown at all in these 15 years. I'm saying I'll support you again since you're probably still poor. No, thank you. I'm not interested. It's impossible. Don't be so stubborn. Goodbye. I hung up without further discussion. He kept calling back, but I ignored it, and then he started emailing me. You need money, don't you? Listen to me. You still love me, right? I'm saying I'll be with you. You're not in a position to ignore me. Answer me. Even my old classmates who used to be wild have probably settled down by now. But this man seemed stuck in time. I felt a chill of disgust and rubbed my arms when Emily approached me.
Mom, are you okay? Are you cold?
No, I'm totally fine.
If you say so.
I couldn't let Emily know about this. She would be hurt to know her father was such a person. I deleted the texts from my ex-husband and blocked him. I also blocked his number so he couldn't contact me anymore. But a few days later, an unknown number called me. Assuming it was nothing to worry about, I answered.
Hello? Nancy. Is it true you've blocked John?
It was my former mother-in-law. I sighed heavily. Please, we're strangers now. I'd prefer not to be contacted.
What are you talking about? You're going to be his wife again.
What? No, I'm not.
How can you say that? John is forgiving you.
What for? There's nothing I need forgiveness for.
You were useless, and that's why he left you. He's forgiving you for that.
This conversation is going nowhere. Goodbye.
Wait a minute.
I hung up again without hesitation, and immediately blocked her number too.
Mom, are you okay? You've been getting weird calls lately.
What do you mean?
Have you been getting strange calls?
Emily is sharp. But I couldn't worry her, so I brushed it off.
I have a lot of clients. Work can be tough, you know. Okay. But let me know if something's up.
Thanks. I considered changing my phone number, which I hadn't changed in over 15 years, but I hesitated. Changing it would mean notifying clients and various agencies, not to mention Emily might get worried. The stress from the constant calls from my ex-husband and former mother-in-law using different numbers kept mounting. Then, one weekend, I received a call from an unknown landline. A quick internet search revealed it was from a wedding venue. A wedding venue? I don't have any clients there. As I pondered calling back, the phone rang again, so I answered. Hello? Your daughter's wedding is starting. Hurry up and come. I recognized the voice as my ex-husband's, but couldn't understand what he meant. Seriously, you're useless. If you hurry, you can still make it. What? Don't want me. What kind of parent misses their daughter's wedding? I glanced over at Emily, lounging on the sofa with her smartphone. Thinking it was a serious case of a wrong number, I told him so. I think you have the wrong number. Don't play dumb. You're Nancy, aren't you? Huh? That makes even less sense. I'm talking about my daughter's wedding. Emily is still in high school. What? Emily is still in high school. What are you talking about? No, I mean, my daughter's wedding. Your daughter? Yes. She's my child, so she's your child too. That makes no sense. Emily is my only child. Goodbye. Wait. I hung up, but he called back immediately. I could almost picture him hijacking the wedding venue's phone. It seems his attitude of caring only about himself, regardless of how it affects others, is still very much alive. What do you want now? Stop bothering me. Don't hang up. Just come to White Garden Chapel. Why would I, a stranger, go there? Don't you have a wife? Yeah, but she left. She's not coming to our daughter's wedding. It's embarrassing not to have a mother at the wedding, so you do it. His words connected the dots. His current wife had left him, and his desperate in-laws were trying to rope me in as a replacement. So that's it. Yes. So, hurry up. Why would I come? There's no way I would. Why not? If we're getting back together, then my daughter is your daughter too. I have no intention of getting back together with you, even if the world turns upside down. Why not? Don't be stubborn. You can escape poverty. Thanks for the concern, but I'm not living in poverty anymore. What? I don't need someone whose only merit is money. Could you please bother someone else? How dare you speak to me like that? As my ex-husband continued to shout, Emily smoothly took the smartphone from my hand. Turning around, I saw her standing there, putting the phone to her ear. Hey, what's going on? Hi. This is Emily. What, Emily? It's your dad. Your voice is so loud, I could hear it even without the phone. Who do you think you are? What? Emily? Oh. Emily. It's your dad. I don't have a dad. And seriously, aren't you embarrassed at your age? Even a high schooler like me can see how ridiculous you're being. How dare you? You know, Mom raised me all by herself because of your selfish actions. And now you come back with all this nonsense. Emily. Oh, sorry. Got a bit carried away with my lively friends. Hey, how about I come to the wedding with them? We'll liven things up. Damn it, no. I want your mother to come. Well, she said no, right? Seriously, I never want to grow up to be like you. I'll just spread the word on social media. Damn it. Put your mom back on. So persistent. By the way, where is this wedding venue? Hello? Oh, the call ended. Emily's strong response seemed to have ended the call from my ex-husband. Emily, watch your language, okay? Sorry. But I only talk like that when I'm really angry. You're not seriously considering going to that wedding, right? No way. I'm not that free. Emily, you knew about your father. Yeah, I overheard Grandma and Mom talking about it once. I'm sorry. Why apologize? You did nothing wrong divorcing him. I'm happy with just you, Grandma, and Grandpa. Emily,
If he were still my dad, I'd probably be a mess. Maybe so. Mom, you have always tried to avoid causing me any trouble, right? You've been careful not to worry me, and I know that. It makes me happy, but I want to worry about you too, Mom. I want to help you. Don't make me cry. I'm good at arguing. If he bothers us again, I'll chase him away.
I realized how much Emily had grown without me knowing. I used to feel guilty and was prepared for her to blame me about her father one day. But she grew up so strong and kind. My choices weren't wrong, and that thought comforted me. That day, thanks to Emily, no more calls came, and we had no idea what happened at the wedding, nor did we care. We cooked together and spent the day joyfully as usual. A few days later, my ex-husband, unable to contact me, called my parents home, and my mother called me.
Hey, you're not planning on getting back together with John, right? Of course not. That's a relief. John just called our house.
He did? To our home?
Yes. He was talking about getting back together with you.
Really? Did he say anything else?
Your father took the phone and shouted at him, and then the call ended abruptly.
After ending the call with my mother, I contemplated what to do next. John had now started to trouble my parents' home. I thought he wouldn't bother me further since he didn't know my current address, but my parents' house was different. John knew where it was, and ignoring him might lead him to show up there. Reluctantly, I decided to contact him to resolve this once and for all.
Hello. Finally decided to come to your senses? How can I make you understand that it's over? What are you saying? Our new start is just beginning. No, it's not happening, no matter what you say. And stop contacting my parents' home.
I realized I had to firmly sever this harmful connection since he refused to give up and kept involving others.
Just come back and help around the house. I need someone to do the chores. Hire a housekeeper. I need someone to cook. Get takeout. I'm tired of takeout. Then go out to eat.
No matter what he said, I countered instantly, but he refused to give up. I wished he would channel this persistence elsewhere.
What's your problem? If I apologize, will you come back?
No.
Do you understand English?
No means no, regardless of the situation.
Then, I'll pay you to do the housework and cooking, okay?
I don't need your money. I still love you.
That's just creepy. Please, I'm lonely living alone. Go back to your parents' home. They're not an option. Live with your daughter and her husband? They refused. Just give it up, okay?
As we talked, John became increasingly despondent. I wondered who would want to be with someone so childish and prideful.
Why did your wife leave? She found someone else.
That's karma for you. Realizing his actions had come full circle, John fell silent. I told him,
money is attractive, but it's sad when that's all a person has. You should really reflect on yourself.
He started sobbing on the phone. Seeing how pathetic he was, I felt relieved we were divorced.
So, please don't involve us anymore.
What? Wait!
You're the one who abandoned this family, remember? There's a limit to being convenient, right?
Well, yes, but I'm trying to make amends.
Then you're going about it all wrong.
Why?
Making amends shouldn't involve causing more trouble. Instead of doing this, why not look for your wife who left?
Don't be so cold. I've looked for her. She's with another man and asked for a divorce.
Whatever her reasons, that doesn't justify you trying to latch onto us again.
What if I refuse?
If you keep harassing us, I'll report you to the police.
Police, really? That's an overreaction.
I'm serious. Goodbye.
I hung up and took a deep breath. Dealing with him was exhausting. To unwind, Emily and I went out for a meal and then to karaoke to let off steam.
Mom, I'm on your side, just like you've always been on mine. Thanks, sweetie. Now let's sing.
Having Emily with me, I felt fearless. John's actions only made me realize how happy we were without him. 2 months later. After that exchange, the calls and messages from my former in-laws suddenly stopped, and peaceful days returned. But then, a text arrived from John. I need to talk. Contact me. Unusually, he sent just one email, different from his persistent phone calls before. Feeling slightly uneasy about this change, I replied, I'll listen via text. My family's business went bankrupt. Okay. I need you to return the property division, alimony, and child support I paid you. What? Reading the message from my ex-husband, I couldn't help but exclaim aloud. The idea of returning the property division, alimony, and child support was unheard of and absurd. The debts are huge, and I'm in real trouble. It's impossible. That money was originally mine. I want it back. The property division and alimony were my rights, and child support is Emily's right. But I was the source of that money. That was the path you chose. He tried calling as our text exchange continued. But expecting another pointless conversation, I ignored it. Anticipating he might contact my parents next, I informed my mother beforehand. Let me talk over the phone. No.
I'm really in trouble. It's not a lie.
True or false, that money now belongs to us. I can't give it back. As I continued emailing with my ex-husband, my phone kept ringing with calls from unknown numbers. Likely his parents. Will my phone's battery last through all this? I mused lightheartedly while replying to the emails and ignoring the incessant calls.
My mother wants to talk to you.
No.
Can't you even talk?
No.
If you don't respond, I might come to your house.
Is that a threat?
Not a threat, but I could threaten if needed.
The unexpected nature of his reply almost made me laugh. It was bewildering to think what kind of mindset would lead someone to believe that threatening was an acceptable approach. So, it's okay for me to interpret that as a threat?
If it makes you return the money.
Then I'll proceed to the police. Holding my smartphone, I headed straight to the police station. Meanwhile, the notification sounds for texts and incoming calls continued to ring. At the station, I recounted everything to the police officers, who repeatedly asked if what I said was really true. They seemed unable to comprehend John's actions and words. Fortunately, due to my work habits, I had recordings of our conversations. Playing these for the officers left them dumbfounded. They sympathized, saying it must have been really tough, and agreed to issue a warning to John. After that, there were no more contacts from John, and I finally felt a sense of closure. But about a month later, Emily approached me, saying she needed to talk. We sat down in the living room, and she showed me her smartphone.
Look at this.
I saw that John had contacted her on her social media.
Why didn't you tell me sooner? Just read everything first.
Following Emily's lead, I scrolled through the messages and found this conversation. Emily? It's Dad. How are you? It's been a while. What do you need? I need you to persuade your mom. I'm in a tough spot financially. So, if we pay you, you'll cut ties with us for good?
Yes. I promise. You're smart, Emily. I'm so happy.
Give me some time, then.
Okay, but contact me as soon as possible.
Okay. A week passed without contact. Sorry. Where are you now?
Emily, you're late. What about the money?
First, I need to know where you are to give you anything. I have a gift for you too.
A gift? You're quite thoughtful for her daughter. I'm in a city, D-Town.
Got it. Let's meet next Monday at the diner in D-Town.
All right. How about 10 a.m.?
Sounds good. Bye. The messages ended there.
What does this mean? Did you promise to give him money? Did you actually meet him?
No, look at this next post. Emily took the phone, navigated to a post, and handed it back to me. When I looked at the smartphone, there was a screen displaying a certain post.
Marriage scammer arrested? Mom, you don't use social media, so you didn't know he was being sought for marriage fraud. What? Apparently, he was on the run for marriage fraud. It was all over social media. But the police didn't mention this when I consulted them. Maybe the complaint hadn't been filed then. Besides, would the police really tell you we're after him for marriage fraud? That makes sense. You're quite knowledgeable, Emily. Actually, many people learn things from social media these days. I had no idea. Anyway, after setting the meeting place, I contacted the police and the person who posted about him. It seems they caught him. You contributed to the investigation, Emily. Am I amazing or what? You are! Never underestimate a high school girl. But now, we're finally free of him, Mom. Yes. It ended up being a burden on you, but thanks to you, it's resolved. Thank you. No problem. Following John's arrest, there were no more contacts from him or his parents. Soon, we discovered that his parents had filed for bankruptcy. Emily and I discussed it and decided to change our phone numbers as a precaution. Although it was a bit of a hassle to notify everyone of the change, it felt refreshing to make such a clean break. This experience brought Emily and me even closer, leading to more open and frequent conversations. I used to think of her as just a child, but looking back, she has always been the one helping me. It wasn't just me raising Emily, in many ways, she was raising me too. We've planned a trip next month with my parents, a family vacation that both Emily and I are eagerly anticipating.